What's up, gamers? It's three of your favorite co-hosts who love talking about first-person shooter news, information, and just stuff. Just stuff that's going on. It is I, Crash, joined by Blue and Buff. What's up, boys?
What
Howdy.
up?
Man, what a week! Lots to talk about. Lots of drama. That's great for podcasting. Just big things happening all the way around. It's gonna be a good program. Do you guys I'll ask Blue first because I feel like we're going to be talking about what Buff's got going over there quite a bit. Blue, how was your weekend, man? What's going on?
Man, it was good. It was good. I just buddy came down from did like a 6 hour drive from where he lives. Me and basically two friends, so the three of us just hanged out during the weekend, went back to that Decision Tactical place. I talk about him a few times. Justin Red 87, fellow YouTuber, content creator, tactical short in there. Me, him, and another friend of ours. Basically, we went to there. We shot the airsoft weapons there. We had a good time. We had some, I was a DD, so they had some beers, and then we had some burgers, and we went downtown, smoked a cigar, just running, shooting digital targets. That was pretty much what we did that day. And then it was Friday night and Saturday, and then Sunday was just Mother's Day stuff. So went to the parents' house, had a brother, his wife, everyone come together, and then just have a good dinner. So it was pretty chill, pretty expensive, but good.
Pretty expensive, dude. Anymore, anytime you leave your house, it's expensive. Like I feel like you walk out the door and money starts leaking out of your wallet. Like just when you're out and about, man.
Oh my gosh! I mean, we had to get groceries a couple weeks ago, and that alone was like for just us three was at least $900.
Cool.
If you want to survive, if you want to not go grocery shopping like a whole month,
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bad.
Love it.
Dude, I'm gonna have to start another channel on how to kill animals and eat them. Just so
There you
people
go.
can get going, Holy cow. Dude.
It's rough out there, but hey, you know what? That's why I go to the gym for a bit and I forget all about it. So
there you go.
Still continuing the gym grind.
The iron therapy or whatever they call it. I don't know.
Iron therapy.
But yeah, man, and I had a good weekend too. I went to Texas, visited some family. They got a bit of a wild hog problem. So me and my buddy are probably gonna get his thermal on his 458 and potentially do some night ops in Texas later on. Make a trip back down there, get some bacon on the ground.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. They got a nice place down there, and they just moved into, and yeah, it was a cool family weekend. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. The moms are the real ones, like legendary. We have big news on the front of Buffnerd Gaming, guys. You're about to see some of the greatest FPS firearm weapon build customization content ever known to man in the history of the internet.
Wow.
I want to do it. I want to say it. Buff got a PC.
He did it.
I did it.
How was it, man?
Finally. Good. Yeah, I got it yesterday. After debating heavily for a good amount of time, and then set it up, and everything went well. Did a test stream last night. Everything was perfect, but I ran into a little bit of a sound issue today, so I got to troubleshoot that. But yeah, I mean, I ran it with Arena Breakout last night on like a test stream, and I ended up playing for like 5 hours. Had a blast. So, and you rated me. Thank you very much. So yeah, that was a good time. It was good to like get in there and play that game. I put operator on and did like ready or not and things like that, and everything's running pretty good. So I got to do gray zone next and just test that out. But yeah, it's a pretty beefy machine, and it just playing last night, getting back into like the PC like PvP aspect, because I haven't really played like a PvP shooter since Tarkov, which was when I was playing that, it was like 2021 probably the last time I was playing that.
Yeah.
So jumping with Arena was definitely like, I like PC better as far as aiming and everything, but definitely as far as just remembering like your lean, crouch, like switch your scopes, like just the
I was
different
gonna say, dude,
different muscle
how's the
memory.
feeling going back? Yeah, technically, I guess, to
Yeah.
shooting back on mouse and keyboard.
I mean, it feels so much better for sure. So much better. It's just a matter of like that muscle memory. You got to like
Yeah.
when you're getting hit, like move, switch like sights or whatever, heal grenade, things like that. Just that muscle memory. So again, that'll come back pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, PC is just it feels way better on mouse and keyboard for sure. We had some really good engagements last night. I was playing with Justin and yeah, the gunsmithing. So it's definitely just being stuck on PS5 with good old Teletubbies of Duty really limiting where the channel can go. So it was time to
Teletubbies of duty.
do something there.
Did you see those new skins in COD that are like off-brand Teletubbies?
No, I have not.
Thing. It's a thing.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, Buff's making the move at the right time, I feel like, and
yeah.
I've noticed that too. When you go like from controller to mouse and keyboard, the mouse feels pretty natural. It's always the keybinds and like the keyboard that takes the time to come back.
Oh, I see them. Yeah, they're like weird fuzzy creatures.
You found them. Yeah.
Pretty dumb.
They put furries with googly eyes. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, dude. that is nice. Woo with the $4.99, dude. Thank you so much.
Woo.
I will say one thing, like jumping back on like aiming and shoot like PvP last night was the whole aim assist debate, which we've been over here for how long.
I was gonna say, yeah, you hear the aim assist, he likes it better.
It's way easier to aim on mouse and keyboard. So like when you see the people on X that are like, it took years of me perfecting my craft with the mouse and the keyboard to get impeccable aim. It's like, dude, I was PvPing last night. Easy. It's so easy. Like it's way harder on controller.
You were PvPing against other people with no aim assist. I implore you to download Call of Duty and play against aim assist players with your mouse and keyboard, and then report back to me.
Ooh.
I have no desire to play Call of Duty for until they start doing something right. Yeah,
because
now you have options, man.
Like straight up with no aim assist, mouse and keyboard like poops on controller all day. Yeah, it feels way better. But when you have inside,
I'll agree. I'll give you that. That makes sense.
Inside of 10 meters, and their gun sticks to you, it's tough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you have in your PC right now?
It's a 4070 Super, and then I'm running an i7, I think 40 I forgot what it is, something KF.
So many numbers.
I need to lay so many numbers. It's a really good i7 though. And then a 4070.
Just put the 4070 Super, that's good enough. Especially because it's technically a dual PC setup. So that's
yeah. So I'm using my old one.
Using that just for games.
PC. Yeah, literally just games, and then my old one, which has always been the streaming PC for my PlayStation, but now it'll be the streaming PC for the PC. So yeah, I think it's a 14700 KF. That I believe is right. Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be sweet, man. And then yeah, so getting the 40 series is clutch for Gray Zone because you'll be able to use DLSS and it'll help a ton. It'll look really good.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And Gray Zone, I was only running it on medium, or not Gray Zone, Arena Breakout. I was running on medium, and it was like gorgeous. So
what editing software do you use, Buff, for your videos?
I use OpenShot, I believe it is, or no, Shotcut. It's an open source one. Oh,
gotcha. Okay, because you will have with the 40 series now, you'll have the AV1 encoder, so you could do your. I'm not sure about that one, but you could do your YouTube videos in AV1, and they'll look a little cleaner too. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe I could just do editing on this PC too. Probably render quicker also.
Oh yeah, nice. For sure.
For sweet, sure.
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess it would be a great time to get your opinion on Arena Breakout. I'd love to know what you thought of that. Did you play it at all, Blue? I know Buff did. Did you?
No, I still haven't gotten a chance to actually put some time into it. So I'm like creating a backlog of games I need to check out.
You got to get
And now
on it, man.
I'm on a time thing now too for a few games too. So, oof.
I read you. I read you. What did you think, Buff? I'm anxious to hear, and then I'll say what I thought. I guess.
So, I mean, I only played 5 hours, and I think the gameplay itself, I loved it. Like once I figured it out and got like into it, the first tutorial run is like is what it is, pretty easy and basic. But then you get into like some actual runs, and I think I died like the first two real ones, and then I remembered like the Tarkov routes, how you should like go about it. So, and then after that I didn't die at all. I had a really fun time just exploring the missions. I think the biggest thing I liked about the game was like the the quality of life improvements, how easy it was as far as things are shown to you, instead of you just like completely bamboozled trying to figure things out. Like where my missions were, visit these areas which aren't labeled on the map, but you can pull up the map. You can choose like locate where your mission is. It'll show you a marker on the map, and then there'll be a waypoint on your compass, and you know where you need to go. So things like that were really nice. The weapon customization was top notch. You can do a lot of good things with like the shooting ranges and stuff like that. So but yeah, the firefights were intense. Like I was getting that intensity feel that you get when like you almost have a heart attack in Tarkov back in the day. So I so far I really like it for sure. But again, only 5 hours in, but it it was what I expected it to be. So I had high expectations and it met them.
Dude, that was I don't want no troubles. Thank you for the 4.99 and the kind words. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Um, so for me, I was surprised at how much it is focused on PvP. I feel like I don't think you could hardly get through a raid without PvP. It feels
Yeah.
like I mean, for lack of a better term, it feels like an arena Tarkov kind of like it feels like a little bit smaller scale, but more
Yeah.
focused on the combat. And then even on top of that, you have like all of the quality of life stuff, the UI stuff to focus on the combat. You don't have to like stare at a wiki and try to figure out where you're going to go and what you have to do and stuff like that. It's just on the map. You click go, you can see your teammates, like you can build kits really fast. There's no what's really cool too is there's no like progression with unlocks. You can build like as long as you have money, like you can build the best and have the best ammo and the best gear right off the bat. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
And what's going to be crazy is how this is going to play out with like no wipes or anything. It basically just has, it's not ever going to wipe when it starts if it's like the mobile one. There's going to be some other cool quality of life stuff things coming where like spectate your teammates once you die. There's already stuff like if your teammate dies, you pick up their gear, it auto returns it to them at the end of the raid as long as you bring it out. There's just tons of stuff like that that's like, man, I wish Tarkov would have done that like 6 years ago, that make it easier to play. Granted, it tones down the hardcore a little bit, but and some people might enjoy that too, but it also just gets the game out of the way so you can have fun in a lot of aspects too. But I get it.
Definitely.
I get it if you're more into extraction shooters for like the progression aspect of it, it's probably not going to do that for you, because it really is about getting in, killing bad guys, getting some loot and getting out and earning money and doing it again. It's about the combat. I feel like because there's not a ton else to do. But from what I understand, when I streamed it on YouTube, I had some awesome people from the mobile community helping me out and talking me through like how things work on the fully fleshed out mobile side. And
Nice.
yeah, it sounds like the traders and the missions and all that stuff are constantly like changing like weekly and stuff. So you always have new and different missions and stuff to do. And we're being on Unreal and coming from mobile, I think it ran great. Like on my machine, it like ran super good. It doesn't look insane. It's not like doesn't look like crazy good, but it looks clean enough to run, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I thought it looked, it didn't need to look any better to me. I think that it looked great. It looked really good. And again, the gameplay was really good. So I don't need these state of the art visuals, but I thought it looked great, for at least from my perspective, at least. But yeah, like you said, it's basically everything great about Tarkov. Why you may have fallen in love with Tarkov when you were first playing it, but you don't need to make it your full time job to be able to like do anything. Because like in Tarkov, when you do come across PvP, you see it so rarely most of the times, depending in your early levels. If you're a new player to the game, that you're just like don't really know what to expect, you're not prepared. And again, what gear, what ammos do I need, things like that. Here, everything's in the game. What ammo is better? The firing range. Just I'm trying to do a video when I get my audio figured out. The firing range, you can change the armor on the dummies and the helmets, so you can see how your different ammo, how your weapon with the different ammo types pen the armor and the helmets. You'll test everything out thoroughly, and it gives you like a feedback as to how many bullets each shot, either it's not penetrating all the way up till when it starts penetrating the armor or the helmet. So there's so many good parts of this game, and like you said, you can jump right into it, right into the PvP. I love right there on screen, you just grenade your buddy there. Awesome, great throw crash.
Hey, this is IGN's trailer, not me.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
But I'm not gonna say I've never grenaded myself or a friendly. I won't say that. I'm not allowed to say that. But this time, definitely not me. But yeah, man, it was weird. It was a weird game. I like the whole time people were like, "What do you think of it?" And I'm like, I don't know, because it's crazy. It's like somebody took Tarkov, which we'll get into in a second. Really took Tarkov and made it like streamlined. So if you want to, that's the thing. If you want to get in and play it, you don't have to play 50 hours a week to stay up to speed on stuff and be able to use the best gear and things like that.
Right.
So like you don't
level
have to
cap on the market. Like you can get right into the market immediately. That was one of the biggest deterrents for me, is not being, you have to level up to 15, and then I think it was 20 to get to the flea market in Tarkov. And like, I'd never played that much. When I did like progressing through missions and things, you got to like on the wiki, where the hell am I going? Like all this stuff. As a newer player at the time, it was very frustrating. This eliminates all that.
And like in Tarkov, like you have the start of a wipe or whatever, and if you take like a few weeks off, not everybody, but it feels like most of the player base has like moved on past you, has the better guns, has a better gear, and you got to shy away from PvP because you're going to get stomped because you didn't no life it at the beginning of the wipe.
Yeah.
And this has none of that at all. So it's I don't know, man. It's something. It tones down the hardcore a lot, and I can see that not being for everybody. A lot of people do like the progression of Tarkov. They do like the hardcoreness of like not knowing where stuff is, having to learn it, remember it, and there's definitely like I feel like there's a little bit bigger skill gap in Escape from Tarkov, but this just kind of
definitely,
I don't want to say waters it down. It just it makes the Tarkov experience more efficient, where like the UI helps you, the menus
more
help
accessible too, way more accessible.
Accessible.
The menu,
sure.
especially like the healing system. Like I feel like they sat down, and again, like the mobile game has been out for a little over a year too, but they basically just, what are the quality of life improvements that this genre or this game could use from, like just being able to hit V on the health wheel or the wheel to select, what healing items you want to use, or it'll have a suggestion when you just tap a certain button and it'll auto do it. There's just a lot of really good quality of life improvements to the genre here with this game.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
That is really nice. It's got like a key that's like I guess you would call it like a smart key. Whatever it thinks that you need, if you need to stop bleeding or if you need to heal or whatever, it shows at the bottom of your screen, and it's the V key. So like if you just hit V, it will go through the steps that you're supposed to do to heal. Like you'll still have to do it, still takes you out of the fight, but you don't have to fumble around in the menus and stuff and try to decide what to do. You can just hit V and keep going.
Yeah.
So that's
or if you're a new player, like, everybody I feel like who just jumped into Tarkov at some point and like you took damage, you're like, what am I doing? Like, how do I fix it? Like, I'm bleeding. I have a broken leg or something, like you don't,
'Cause they don't
maybe
know
you
the
didn't,
icons and stuff
yeah,
like
maybe you
that.
don't have
Yeah.
a splint, maybe you don't have a surgical kit, and in this game, like, it won't let you, if you're going into the raid without like a medical item that you may need, it'll tell you like, hey, do you want to equip this, because you don't have it, you might need
Yeah,
it. That way you're not getting into a raid and you're like break your legs by accident, say right at the beginning of a raid, and you're just like don't have splints or anything. So
I've never done
I
that.
think that's cool. Yeah, I never broke my legs in Tarkov either, but I'm just saying for the people that have, that would be annoying. I
Right.
wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, we're clearly
Or
better
when,
than
you
that.
get one shot and get blacked out and stuff.
I wouldn't know either. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a thing.
And then, so the other question we have to go with is like microtransactions are the other thing that people are going to be worried about
Yeah.
within this game. What is one that is like almost 100% going to be the thing is you have to pay like a monthly subscription for your secure container. Like you pay per
Mhm.
month. They did come out on Twitter, Arena Breakout Infinite, and they said there won't be any like things that help you survive per se, like direct purchasable items, but it will be like pay for convenience type stuff. So
Right.
having like a secure container you'll pay for, excuse me, and then also cosmetics and stuff like that will be in the store. What are you guys'
Yeah.
thoughts on a subscription based secure container? Like how do you feel about that?
What
Mm,
do you think, Blue?
I know people also have the argument that pay for convenience is also pay to win, because like if you do have a secure container, depending on how big it is, 3x3, 2x2, if you have a very valuable object, I see this argument a lot, real quick too, on Tarkov, where it's like people think the secure container should be taken out completely because they think it just doesn't make PvP fights that much more intense, because you have less risk of losing. Let's say, I mean, they have a tiger statue, in the game, that maybe if you do get a secure container, that if you pay for a bigger one where someone doesn't just can't pay that monthly subscription, that feels like a little bit too much for some players. But at the same time, it's not like I'm going in and paying for a certain weapon that only they can get, or a certain stim that only subscribers can get. Um, a thermal scope that I've seen, or in other games such as Tarkov. Now they got that scav beacon thing, whatever that is, where within 60 meters the AI won't attack you, and you pay more money for that. So it's um, I'm not. It's hard to like compare them to each other. I don't know. I still never really liked the idea of paying for something as important as that. I think when it comes to a free to play game, it really should just be more cosmetic, not function,
Hmm.
to support. Because if you want to support them, by all means do it. But if it affects gameplay in some shape, some form, I think you're walking on thin ice, because there's going to be people out there that be like, hey, I just, I have, like, if you have one person here that can take a GPU, for instance, or whatever in game asset that's worth $7,000, and just imagine the cash. And then you have the player who's just playing strictly for free, who doesn't have that. It just feels a little bit unfair in that aspect. So,
It does. If you break it all the way down, though, I'm just going to play the devil's advocate, play the other side of it for the
for
sake of
sure.
entertaining
Yeah.
our viewers. That's having that secure container is not going to help them win a gunfight. It's gonna
No,
it's
of course not.
it's gonna help them, retain some value. So maybe they can sell it in the end. Like if you're comparing a 1 KD player to a 1 KD player, the one with the secure container is going to have a little bit more money because they're going to be able to put those valuable items in there and extract it no matter what. So then I guess you could keep going and say, well, they're going to have potentially better gear all the time. I don't know. I I would honestly just rather pay like 20 or 30 bucks for the game and then never have to pay anymore again, instead of having to do the subscription thing.
Subscription
'Cause I feel like
service. That is a lot, dude. I'm already having. How many subscriptions do you already have?
yeah,
At this
that's what I'm
point, like,
saying. And they add up, and then over time it's like if you play this game for a few years and you're, like $5 a month, pretty soon a game, you spend 100 and some bucks on the game before you even realize what's going on, just kind of trickling
and
over time. But
is it worth that amount? in hindsight, you know.
Right.
I think it's up to each individual to, you know, and again, $5 a month, people might not care, but yeah, you said it, $5 a month after a year, you know,
Starts
or
to add
depending.
up.
I mean, did they say how much it is or no, not yet?
No, and I don't. Someone maybe in chat or in the comments or something knows what it costs, or yeah, what it costs on mobile. I'm not 100% sure.
Info might have come out too after. Of course, it might come out tomorrow. Watch.
It'll probably come out tomorrow. Yeah, on everything. They'll probably announce the release date and all that tomorrow. They did tweet that the release could be sooner than thought. Yeah. So
that ghost drop thing. We'll see.
I thought that was pretty wild, but man, a lot of people are having a ton of fun with it. And it's going crazy. It's almost like it's the
I see nothing but good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a game that Tarkov people have wanted for like 5 years, like or 8 years. Like, can you just put this quality of life stuff in Tarkov and make it better? And they didn't. And then another company, ironically enough from China, was like, oh, we'll just do it then. And they did it. So we can talk about, the closed beta is supposed to end on the 15th, they did say. So a couple more days of that. But then, and Buff can also attest to this, doesn't it feel pretty damn solid, like polish wise? Like, holy shit, like it played great, fine, optimized. Did you have any like crashes or bugs?
No, I didn't. I was holding like 144-ish frames the whole time. No dips, nothing like that. I had no crashes. I didn't run into any bugs or anything. So it performed really well for me. Plus, I think you gotta, they did this. They already had their mobile game out there, and so when designing this one, I feel like they're obviously taking a lot from the mobile game. So it's not. It makes sense.
Like they have to start from scratch too,
right? Yeah, it makes sense. It's as polished as it is, but yeah, it feels really good for sure. It feels like it could release at any time.
which I guess would be a segue into the main overarching topic of the day. If they straight up copied Tarkov code, why does this run so much better?
Yeah, right.
Like, that's my biggest
well, now
question.
it's so strange seeing like Nikita go on Twitter just trying to get like the aha got you like tweets instead of just like, hey Nikita, first of all, no one's on your side right now still, no matter what you say. Even if Arena Breakout did steal assets from your game, people still don't, like, you still never pulled back the $250 unheard edition. You still never pulled back a couple things you said the last time. No one's really on your side. And the fact that he's out there trying to be like, you see guys, like pointing fingers, it's kind of like that, like the joke. It's like, if you point a finger, you got 3 pointing back at you. That's literally what's happening right now.
Right.
A lot of people, this is like, the fact that I don't know, I hope he didn't take the time to make that into like a meme format of like the 2 different AK dust covers having like the same polygonal textures, and like it is exactly the same for sure. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like, well, did they copy the asset from Tarkov, or did both companies take an asset from a single place?
That's true too.
I wonder if that's the case too.
If we're breaking it down to like who did what in like the court of law, this tells you nothing. It doesn't even tell which game
this
it's
would
from,
be disregarded as
you have to prove that they actively got hands on the code and stole code, and you're not gonna be able to prove that. And this, like you said, Blue, this proves nothing. And just saying, hey, these photos look the same.
And also
it's like the office, they're just the same photo.
Yeah.
And also in the meantime, you should probably keep your mouth shut, like with accusations and stuff, until you can prove it. Like that's just a little tip from me to Nikita, like just a little pointer. Because it doesn't, it paints you in the light of like a whiny crybaby who's a little bit insecure if you're just calling stuff out as it pops in your head, instead of like, say, okay, did they really take this stuff, and then presenting evidence and showing they legit 100% did. Because honestly, with the stuff I've seen in the game itself, it's kind of starting to feel like they did take some code, because for those, there are some people out there, guys, who get their news from this podcast. So I guess I should frame it like a little bit, give just a quick little backstory. Nikita post or Logical Solutions was the first one. It came from a cheat forum, which is like red flag for me right away. But cheat forums where they show game code so people can make cheats about it and be degens, showed that in the code of Arena Breakout Infinite, there were boss names and boss, what are the, like the, I don't know how to, like some of the code, some of the parameters that run the bosses were the same.
Yeah, like the AI parameters,
Yeah, and then in Arena Breakout, they used the names Killa and Gluhar were in the code, and some of the code from Escape from Tarkov. And then that was like what kicked the whole thing off. And then there's been so much back and forth since with, then there's also been talk, Nikita accused them of taking the AK sounds. I looked into that in a video a little bit. Kind of looks like they did, not really proven though. The waveforms look really, really similar. It's gone through the whole thing, and then Arena Breakout Infinite has started showing behind the scenes about how they record sounds. They did another one about photogrammetry and modeling today, and kind of like a rebuttal. But it's just a whole crazy thing. Like, I guess you guys, what do you think that they did take it? I'm leaning towards they did based on what I've seen. But it's not.
Okay, if they did, how much would it matter to some people? I'm curious, because like, I think question. People were already having so much fun with
no
it.
One's gonna care. No one's
yeah, I don't think anyone's really gonna care, especially like if it's like you said, it's like if they did steal the code again, why does it run so much better? You know, plus, and I'm talking to a couple IT guys, stuff like that, and game developers, like they look at the code, it's like, wait, but Tarkov's on, I think I might have confused. One's on C++, and the other one's on trying to think of the other name for it. See, I'm not a coder. I'm not a.
Well, we can just go with engines, right?
They're they're two different engines, pretty much.
Unity and Unreal.
So what you're saying is they're two completely different coding languages, though.
Exactly. So for someone to take C#, thank you. So from C++ to C#, if someone would have to take that and basically almost rewrite the entire code to put into a different game, it's like taking a game and building it backwards. And I feel like that'd be a lot more work for a development team to do. So I don't know. It's like, is it possible? Yes. You know, is it plausible? You know, it's also again, it's Tencent. It's a Tencent backed company. They have all the money in the world. They, could do it if they wanted to. And that also, it's like, what if they do get into legal battles with BSG, who's coming out on top in that fight as well?
Can they even though? And it's China and Russia. Like,
I mean, they roll with their buddies now. Probably. I'm just kidding.
Completely different laws. I'm sure they have completely different laws. But I mean, at the end of the day, though, you got to prove it, and you're not gonna be able to prove that. And like this is what this kind of stuff. If it is true, like this kind of stuff happens all the time, right? Like world isn't fair, life isn't fair. People step on people to get above. And
but I've seen like a legit game, Operation Harsh Door style, Blue Drake's game, where that other game, Ventar, whatever the heck it's called,
one-to-one rips,
assets, from that game, and now they're actually, and it's a whole, again, different countries, different legal systems, court cases, court battles. That's gonna happen. So that is a legit case of like, you stole from our game, we're going to, basically take you to court because we gave you the opportunity. So again, and I really think the way Nikita, the way he's handling on Twitter, if like someone, I think I saw a reply and it was like, dude, just file a Steam DMCA claim at this point. Like, that's the most you can, or not Steam, but like just file a DMCA claim, because like you going on Twitter and crying, about something, just put your money where your mouth is, if that's the case.
I feel like he's just doing it because everyone's having fun with that game and not playing it. Like all the big Tarkov aren't playing Tarkov.
The Twitch numbers too said a lot already too. There was like 6,000 people watching Twitter, Tarkov, like 24 at one point watching Arena Breakout
I
Infinite.
will say
Yeah.
Twitch numbers are pretty finicky, and it'll probably switch when Tarkov has a wipe. But I do want to touch on the Steam thing because, well, there's a whole bunch I want to touch on too. Because taking it back to like the Vintar Operation Harsh Doorstop thing, that, like you said, that was 1-to-1. They posted a video of going through a building in Arena Breakout and then going through a building at the same time in Tarkov. The layouts were the same, but the building, the textures, all that were like completely different. It's like,
I really think they were assets from something else. Not, I don't think Tarkov, maybe. I don't think BSG maybe took some of those assets and did the same thing that Arena Breakout Infinite did. They take an asset, they retexture it, they add a couple different props here and there, and boom, that's their game. Maybe Arena Breakout did the same thing from the same asset. So it could be. I don't know.
But the other thing to touch on is following the DMCA on Steam. I feel like that is really the only thing that could happen is if they prove it to Steam and Steam decides to take down Arena Breakout Infinite. However, that's a US company. However, I don't really think that matters because if Steam takes them down, you already have their third-party launcher that goes through Steam.
Exactly.
And then like a lot of the people that started with the creators anyway that were allowed in to play. Like I don't launch it from Steam. I launch it if I want to play it from their launcher. They already have a launcher.
It's on my taskbar. Yeah.
And you know what? So does Tarkov. And Tarkov's done just fine with their own launcher. I think Arena Breakout would do fine with their own launcher if they were delisted from Steam. Everybody's like, man, if they delisted it from Steam, they'd be sunk. And it's like, no, like they would just be in the same boat as Tarkov. And Tarkov's doing fine, using their own third-party launcher. So
yeah,
or their own.
I didn't launch it from Steam at all. Like the way I got my code was log into your account through the website, and it was linked to my account, and I downloaded it. So there was no Steam.
I don't know
at
what.
all.
I didn't even know it was on Steam, to be honest. So I thought it was just strictly from their website. Then download launcher, run the scary exe file.
Yeah,
So I guess again, a lot of it is just like the quote unquote sources. Trust me, bro. Right now, there's not like any official sources coming out showing legit evidence. So I mean, I wouldn't even consider Nikita's tweet a legit evident take, because like he didn't even post like, hey, this is our file right here, this is their file right there. It's just a funny meme he just made. So
Yep. And the other thing that was worth pointing out too in all that discussion was they talked about the AK sounds. Nikita said they stole the AK sounds. The waveforms were closed, and then Arena Breakout, I guess More Fun Studios, posted a video of them making their own sounds, but there were no gun sounds in that. It was footsteps. So a lot of people were just like, oh man, there you go. Like they make their own sounds, but gun sounds weren't in there. So I'm actually leaning towards that they sold some of it, and maybe they just built around. So maybe they like built their own game, but they're like, they just save some time and use some of the same like parameters to code different things.
see like a very, very similar M4 reload animation tweet as well too that I saw. That was again 1-to-1 showing Tarkov reloading, Arena Breakout Infinite reloading, and it was damn near identical. I mean, someone was like, as a animator, I can tell it's different. I was like, I mean, like you're looking at like the little nuances. I mean, from like a 1-to-1 scale. Then again, there's not many ways to reload an M4 as well, other than magazine, bolt release. So it's kind of just like, is he gonna pretend to rack it like an AK or something like that? It's just
right. Yeah.
So
that's like the same with that image. I know I saw that on Twitter and commented, and someone said it was, because my thought was like, you can only make an AKM dust cover or a 74 dust cover look so many ways, right? It's just a standard dust cover.
Yeah, exactly. A different scratch here,
Yeah, but I guess they were saying it was the, I don't know what it was. I don't know specifically what they were mentioning. I briefly read it, but
that one has like the same exact polygons and stuff. It's like the same.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Another one that I saw was the Romanian AKM handle, the dog wooden one. And that one was just the same texture.
It was
just different, like exposure. pretty much, just different lighting situations. So like like literally everything from like the wood grain in the middle, the way it spaces out and everything, like it was exactly 1-to-1. So again, even if they did steal it, but then it's like, okay, sure, if they stole assets, people still don't care. They don't like the game. I feel like that's also very dangerous territory because that opens up the floodgates for a lot of other games that might run into that situation and be like, well, these guys did and no one said anything. People are still playing their game and it's still sending money. So why can't I do it? You know, and it's
Yeah.
just gonna,
It,
start a whole different wave of
it,
people probably stealing assets and stuff like that. So
exactly. It feels like a super slippery slope because on one hand you're like, dude, it's Arena Breakout and it's Tarkov. Like it's happening to Tarkov, who, like you said, has a very low approval rating right now. And it's like, who gives a shit if it's fun? It happened to Tarkov. People have also said, they kind of deserve it since they've probably used like first party names and logos and stuff on their attachments, in game, and guns and weapons, the real names of them, without getting approval or licensing from those companies. So people are kind of like, Tarkov deserves it or whatever. But what if you flip the script and it happens to like, a legit game or a game you like? What if it happened to Incursion, or, what if it happened to Gray
an
Zone
indie game or something,
like you would be like, damn, like that's really shitty and
that's also like a different conversation because it was just like, people do use assets to make games. They buy them from the Unreal Marketplace, they buy them from the Unity store, they go from there, and they, people are using some of the same assets in each game. So you start running into that aspect too. It's like you're not stealing because you paid for that asset to put into your game, and it literally it's just a domino effect. I feel like that all this will keep going on and on and on.
Yeah, the Tarkov stuff was a little weird, and like with Arena Breakout, because like if they stole audio and if they used like same AI coding and like some of that stuff, that's kind of like depending on where they got those sounds. I'm assuming Tarkov, they seem like a lot of gun dudes. They probably recorded their own audio. If they stole it from there, it's like, then you're starting to take IP, like you're taking other people's property. And again, from a Chinese studio, or Chinese company, it's like, I mean, China has a little bit of a history of taking IPs from other folks and iterating on them. So it's just a wild topic, and it's gonna be cool to watch, in my opinion, like to see how it plays out in the end. Like, does Tarkov take any kind of action? Is there any legal action they can take, being from those two different countries? Could Arena Breakout get removed from Steam with their own launcher? Would they even give a shit? Like, there's just a lot to it, and it seems like new stuff's happening every day, because all that stuff happened, and then today Nikita posted the dust cover thing, and like, yeah, it's a can of worms, man. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna end up, but
yeah,
it seems like people don't care, and they're just having fun with Arena Breakout. And
That's the thing. It's like what Buff said in the beginning. It's like, well, the code works better, game feels better, so it's just, and it really feels like,
is it kind of
what
like
the PvP, what it was back in the beginning, when like nobody really knew anything. There was really no metas. It was just kind of just everyone just playing just to play, and you always ran into PvP.
Yeah, I was gonna, like, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. The game's way more fun than Tarkov right now, in my opinion. Again, it's still early, honeymoon phase, all that. But I mean, I just like we talked about. I just don't really care because it's so much fun, and it seems like with Nikita making posts like that, he's trying to win public opinion when, like you guys said, no one cares because of all the crap they just pulled. So if he legitimately believes that there is stolen assets from their game and the game's code, they would be taking legal action, or have announced, hey, based on this, we're taking legal action against blah blah blah, because we have found several things that are not similar but identical, blah blah. Instead of like, oh, it's a match, blunder, dust covers look the same, reload animation, like,
And it's like,
that's just
yeah,
pathetic.
Tarkov, how's your cheater issue?
Yeah, like either take legal action or don't, because you just announced a $250 edition of a game because your arena game was garbage and you're alienating your entire fan base. So it's just it's stupid. But I mean, you also look at Delta Force, like everyone was saying the reload animations and things like that and inspects were 1-to-1 from like the Modern Warfare series. But again, it's like Tencent, so they technically do the COD Mobile, so they kind of have some rights to that as well. But it- wouldn't these be the similar assets from the mobile game also in Infinite for some of this stuff? Like, are the reload animations and sounds the same in Infinite as they are in the mobile version? Or
You know what? That's true too. Because like if that, because if that was, I just realized something. If that was the case, why wasn't BSG talking about it then?
because it
Yeah.
was a mobile
It
game and
wasn't a threat.
not a threat.
It wasn't a threat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I
Now it's a threat. So now they're doing this dumb stuff.
I also heard some like tinfoil hat stuff too, where people said that Battlestate Games was potentially working with them to make a mobile port of their game, and so they just sent them all the code on their own. And then it ended up falling through, but they still had the code. So like,
Yeah,
I've heard
What I heard as well,
crazy
too.
stuff
Yeah.
like that too, and like who
that could
knows?
have happened. What if it did? Yeah, this.
Hey man, just it's
Who
all
knows?
up in the air right now. We'll see what lands.
And
Yeah,
then
it's all just hearsay right now. It's Nikita making tweets.
yeah, so Gooms from chat, who is says he's a Operation Harsh Doorstop dev, works on the game. Sent
sick.
me.
Yeah, he's a big member of
Oh,
a
gotcha.
bunch of that
Awesome.
stuff.
Well, welcome in, by the way. And secondly, he sent me an article from their legal team when they went through that stuff with Ventar. And it's a little nuanced, boys. I don't know if we're gonna get through that on the show today, man. There's
You might have to bring Goons. Might have to come onto the show, man.
do it. Get him on here.
But that's my point, right? That I'm sure you're looking at that, like the legal paperwork behind that is probably insane. The references, the citing, you need to cite specific instances of all of this happening. You can't just go on X and be like, yo, 74 dust cover looks the same as a 74 dust cover. And also, if you're modeling, if you're using inspiration, like obviously, if at the very least they use Tarkov as an inspiration, as every extraction genre shooter right now should, I feel like, and it's the same Tarkov used other games as inspiration. So you look at it that way. Why, if I'm a developer, which I used to like do development, and I've done C++ and C# before, if I'm using something for inspiration and I'm just whiteboarding things, hey, we should have a, if we're in like a meeting, just collaborate. Hey, we should have bosses. Yeah, like Tarkov has the killer boss and the Gluhar, and so okay, yeah, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna reference this is Gluhar and killer. I'll use those names so I know, and the others know that we talked about kind of how that boss should behave. It's gonna be similar to this one, so that's just gonna be a placeholder name for now. That's personally how I've done things in the past and how I would do it. Now, obviously, in the final version of the game, it doesn't look good if you keep those names in there. But I think we've seen examples of that before where like coding wasn't changed, especially like if you were to pull code and look at comments of code, that's in comments of code, like what probably you can just write text in there with the comments. And I used to narrate my code.
What if
all
they
the time.
change the name? Well, yeah, what if they change the names? Would people still be having this conversation? What if it was just like a placeholder name?
Exactly. Or if the code was different names, and maybe there was comments in the code that were referring to the names, right? So that to me is how I would have approached it. So again, it's a beta. Maybe they didn't get that far, but that's just my point. Is like the legal course of action for this is a lot more than, hey, these sound alike, hey, these dust covers look the same, hey, that reload animation looks similar.
Yeah, and you have to decide, like Goom said, is it improve how things are transformative or derivative? Like if it's different, or and the game has changed quite a bit. Like Arena Breakout's still a fair amount different from Tarkov, but it's just like heavily inspired. I mean, it takes like 2 seconds to see that.
For sure, but if Nikita, like, also from a legal standpoint, again, China and Russia, like, I don't even know if anything would ever even come from that. But from a legal standpoint, Nikita's out there essentially saying that these guys stole our game code. That's what he's saying. So if it comes out like that's not true, and it can be proven that it's not true, even if they were inspired, like that's a defamation counter suit right there. So that's what I'm saying. If there was if he actually believed that they stole it, he wouldn't be making tweets like that. They would be going through the legal process and keeping their mouths shut if they were smart. But they released a $250 bundle of the game, so clearly that's
Yeah. No, that's a really another good point from Gooms in chat. It's like, how did they get that model from Arena Breakout Infinite? And that starts to be like, that was a little
yeah,
sus,
right.
like how they got
Yeah,
that
how
too.
they do
Great
that.
point. Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah, I didn't even
It's
think
kind of like
about that.
maybe they were thinking about collabing at one point, kind
You gotta
of
want,
what
yeah.
you said, and it fell through, and they kept it somehow. So I mean, does that make it right? Probably not, but I mean,
But then
yeah,
you go to like a
it's
legal point, if that is the case, how far along in the process were they, this and that? And then you could say, like, hey, we paid for this and this. So technically, these are our assets. Again, you don't, that's so many unknowns is the
yeah,
thing. But
yeah,
they
Yeah, and
would
I,
be
it really
going
is.
through a legal course of action, I feel.
yeah,
If
and
they really believe.
the fact that Nikita just seems to be tweeting like whatever's on his mind or whatever they come up with
Yeah.
makes me think that they're either going to have a tough time if there's a formal investigation, or they're not even going to worry about filing one. He just wants to
I
feel
really
better
feel like he
and,
needs to just
tweet it out.
stay off of Twitter to
Yeah.
Yeah, but
say whatever
along,
I
face
think
is
it's
left.
more of like, hey guys, see this fake. They even said in the tweets before the closed beta, like, have fun in the plagiarist game for 20 minutes. It's just like, it's just them being upset because their player, because like you said, Blue, there's a threat now, and they're just trying to play it off any way they can instead of just improving their game. Competition should breed the best,
and
but not if you're a crybaby about it.
and well, what's funny that you mentioned that is lately Nikita has been like super responsive to people from the Tarkov community, doing like in-game
Weird.
events.
Wonder
People said, hey,
why.
what if we tried this and this? So they are doing an event where they did away with like found and raid mechanics to see how it goes because the community wanted it. They're taking down like inertia and some of the movement penalties and stuff like that because people wanted it. And Nikita's just engaging with people like, do you want this? Do you want us to do this? And it seems kind of ironic that on the timing that Nikita all of a sudden becomes really in tune and listening to his community. It's almost like he's motivated to because he has a little competition now or something crazy like that. It's
There you go. Exactly.
it's pretty funny to see. Yeah, so he definitely should probably stay off Twitter. I replied to one of his tweets and said, because you remember he said, they're going to leave the Unheard edition up and live for people to buy for the true believers. I responded to one of his tweets and said, I only spent $150, so I guess I'm not a true believer. So because I just bought the EOD edition, so I'm chopped liver now, so I don't count.
Yeah, it's so
just for
that whole
some
thing's so
DLC content.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
But
that whole topic is so complicated, and I think Twitter and X just blows it out of proportion. Some account tweets that, and everyone all of a sudden, I was getting messages like, "Dude, did you hear they stole Tarkov's code?" And it's like,
Yeah, everybody started running with it, and it's just like, guys, like they really needs to be more evidence put out there. Really, just wait until it's put out there. Don't run with what, especially like I've seen people flip flop from blaming BSG for all their woes in their life to then just completely defending them in terms of like stolen assets that hasn't even been proven yet. So,
man,
it's the internet, man. It's the internet.
Exactly.
And to be honest, I've stayed away from this a little bit because I just like it's just I've read about it. I made my own opinion about it and just left it alone because if I go out there and try to start arguing with people and replying to comments, I'll be there all day trying to. You can't fix stupid.
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the end of the day, I would much rather play this than Tarkov because I don't have the time to play Tarkov. So
yeah,
that's the thing too. I'm glad you guys said like Arena Breakout feels like you don't have to be there for 50 hours on wipe day to try to get good gear, where it's just like anyone could just hop in at any point, which is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you could get in and play if you have a few good raids and get out with some good stuff and get some kills. Like you can have enough money to set up and buy a few kits, and it literally, that game boils down to playing the game and PvP. Like that's what they're focused on. It's kind of cool how it plays out. It's really interesting.
I'm seeing like the IGN gameplay too, and I'm seeing like a Picatinny rail on canted on a scope on top. That looks very weird. I'm very curious to see like would an RMR go on top or red dot? It was like, were you gonna like hold it?
He's got it canted there. So like there's two canted rails, and he's
Can you
got an
technically
RMR
have two
canted.
canted sights on it?
Yeah, you can.
I think you could, right?
You
yeah.
can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you can run like a hammer. You can run a hammer with that RMR, and you can run a canted sight on like your other pick rail on the front of the weapon. So
on four canted RMRs.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
It was really funny where that very first Logical Solutions tweet was from a cheat, like it was from a cheat forum. There was nothing on the page that said who it was from.
That was posted to Reddit too.
There was nothing on the page that showed what code it was from, and everybody just ran with it, man. They took it to the bank. Like that's what happened. And I'm just sitting here
you see, and it's just like,
it's like that proves nothing. And like the first sensor, like found on a cheat for, and I'm instantly like okay.
First of all, what were you doing there?
Oh.
Yeah.
Why were you there? Let's ask.
But it's also like, can you prove that's even Arena Breakout code?
that's it. I don't know. And then some other people came through and said that like that they were able to find it in there, but yeah, I don't know, man. And then the other thing that like just a whole nother layer onto it is like with single player Tarkov. So single player Tarkov modded, Tarkov's code. So like, are they like everybody's loving and playing single player Tarkov, but like, are they?
Yeah,
they still code?
Yeah, and I still don't like. You guys forget like, or some people forget like, they were DMCA and copyright claiming creators showcasing SPC Tarkov, and then now, because of everything, I think they needed some way to kind of get some on people's good graces. So they haven't been doing that, but they've also said we'll let them be for now. Like I'm expecting SP Tarkov to get hit by BSG someday. I don't know when, but I wouldn't bet money that SP Tarkov will stay up and running for a very long time.
Yeah, and a lot of people they're opening up, the PvE part of Tarkov that was going to be in the Unheard of edition. They're starting to open that up to EOD people. They said like 33% of EOD people have access to it now. They're doing it in waves. After all the backlash. So that's just wild, man. Like it's a whole big giant can of worms.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I'm with Benji here. Like I bought standard Tarkov back in the day, and I also don't want to have to spend $250 just for a PvE mode. Like that's still, even if I paid just for the standard edition, I feel like that even, I don't know, maybe it's people like, oh, I've heard it, I've seen it in comments and YouTube videos and Twitch streams, like people who bought the standard edition want the PvE mode, and then they go, and people who paid for Edge of Darkness, like, oh, you're just you want more, stop being a crybaby for paying such a low amount. It's like, bro, really? Like you paid for a product that's a DLC that, first of all, is not worth $250. A PvE mode is not worth that much. So
yeah, and I honestly, so many people bought the EOD edition. I didn't even think of that, but you're 100% right, Blue. It's like if you think about somebody who would love to try the mechanics of Tarkov and just play around in the PvE mode to learn it and stuff, the entry point for PvE Tarkov is $250, $250,000. Yeah, you're exactly right. Like I didn't even.
Yeah, Magnus, oh, you're just, bro, you got no money. Ha ha ha.
The absurdness. No, it's like if
imagine
I want to,
I'll just go play SP Tarkov.
Yeah, imagine just justifying that. Like, you guys, imagine, how do you defend that? I'm gonna pay $250 for.
Hey, you know what? I know some people that like, I've already gotten EOD. I wanted it just because I'm having fun of it, but I'm not. I know people that are playing it that paid for it, and they're not going around saying, haha, I have this, you don't. Like they're just like, hey, I wanted to support them more. I wanted to pay for it. I wanted to, Russia got more money from me. It's fine. Exactly. But for those that, again, say that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and then people are like, oh, you're just broke. It's like, no, I'm not broke. because I don't throw my money down holes like I would if I
Yeah.
spent $250 for single player Tarkov. Like there's a correlation there, and I would
Exactly.
You get that toxic part of a community in any game, though. I mean, you just look at the COD community, which is just like the dumbest community ever. So you get that everywhere, unfortunately.
That whole thing is wild too,
Mhm.
because I've heard people like was just said in chat that the single player Tarkov is better. It's like, why didn't they just like hire those people? Like when they
It
obviously
is
knew what they
all the
were doing.
mods that I was looking at. There's a mounting mechanic, and like I just
so
happened to
many
come
cool mods
across,
for SP Tarkov, man.
yeah, like it sounds like I just watched like a quick run through of it yesterday, and like some of the mods this guy was running, I was like, that sounds way better. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
comfortability mechanics with like how comfortable your plates are in the carrier, and like that's like how good you're feeling. Like different things that like make sense would make sense if you were like actually in a combat to some of this stuff, but also like mounting. I mean, that seems like pretty basic, right? So there's definitely a lot of good things there.
What's really nice too, and lucky for the community though, in response to that $250 entry point for PvE Tarkov, there's some really good other PvE games. Incursion Red River, like Road to Vostok is going to be awesome. Like if you want some PvE stuff, like there's games for you, and you don't have to spend that kind of money to play
And
like
Road to Vostok, Incursion, Stalker, like he said in chat, like those are all
Yep.
like moddable games that they won't come after you for it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that having those options with mods and like
And Gray Zone has
look
PvE
at
too.
Stalker,
Yep,
man.
Gray
Like
Zone
Stalker's
PvE.
how old is Stalker? And it's like I'm seeing
Since
blue stuff all
2007, I
the
believe.
time. Yeah, like the replay ability factor because of the mods and things. It just keeps the game
I was
going.
just saying that today on stream. Like mods make games last forever, man.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. It's really important. Like what the heck? Oh my god.
Oh my
the cats are-
gosh, that scared
dude,
me.
it scared me. Yeah, it makes it
What was
makes
that?
them wait a minute. My cat's freaking out. They're
Dude,
fighting each other. They
that
don't
terrified me. Jump scare for the audio
oh,
listeners. Wake
dude,
up.
I jumped too. Oh my god.
Wake up.
Holy. Dude, I hope somebody just didn't go in the ditch with their car who's listening to the audio
Yeah,
version.
right. Sorry, chat. Man, I think we all just got a jump scare.
That's awesome. But yeah, Gray Zone with the PvE mode, it's like the game I'm playing by far the most right now, and I spaced it. Yeah, wow. I'm good at this stuff, guys. I'm a great podcast host. I just had coffee down the wrong pipe. Talk amongst yourselves. I have to cough.
Oh geez, no. I mean,
nice.
have you tried Gray Zone yet, Buff?
No,
okay.
that's I'm gonna I'll get that like within the next few days and get into it for sure.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get everything rolled out on the computer and make sure we're squared away. So this audio issue is a bit of a roadblock, but yeah, I'm definitely pumped to play it.
Hold on. Speaking of Tarkov, I saw funny enough, someone mentioned Doom in chat. There's a Doom Tarkov mod now.
What?
It literally, yeah, gosh, I literally just saw it today.
That's amazing.
I think it's called like Call of Doom Tarkov or something like that. Hold on, it's
That's
a mod.
awesome.
Yeah, so Call of Doom Tarkov, and I saw it a couple days ago. It released 6 days ago, and it's an Escape from Tarkov Doom mod. So it's got like, and it's in like Doom fashion, you know. So it's got like the weird like, you know, framey, you know, textures, animations, stuff like that. But you're fighting, you know, Doom creatures with a PKP or a P90 or a freaking AK-104 or Mosin. It's like all custom maps. It looks pretty dope. Like it's so cool. And again, that's just a game that's like been modded to hell and back.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat for the people to check out on their own after the podcast, not now.
Afterwards, don't go anywhere.
Afterwards, don't go anywhere.
Stay right here, locked in your favorite show, The Scope. Yeah, that is that's shenanigans, man. It's crazy what's all going on, but I'm just happy to be here, man. Oh, because of all the extraction shooters. Finish that subject. What I was going to talk about, Buff. So you're having trouble with your audio when you're playing that game, man. And people in chat, there's some rumblings talking about anti-cheat. I've seen some other people talk about this. when you're playing
Ooh,
Arena
yeah.
Breakout, it locks your computer down, man. Like you can't do anything else. Like it's crazy. And I'm assuming that's part of the anti-cheat that starts up. Like Discord overlays don't work. All my Discord hotkeys like to mute so people in my Discord don't have to hear me talking to chat and stuff. And like I'm surprised my Stream Deck still works with all the stuff with OBS and stuff like that. But like it's crazy like how like overbearing the anti-cheat is. Like it just won't even let you do a lot of different things. It's crazy.
I mean, I'm kind of for it though, given how bad cheating's gotten. You know, I'm sure that hopefully they'll refine it for sure to allow like Discord and stuff like that. But cheating's gotten so out of control, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Especially
sure
cheating in general but on Tarkov it's still pretty bad, and that's another thing too for why secure containers are kind of helpful as well too, is against cheaters. You know,
Right.
just demolishing you and grabbing something very valuable. So again, I feel like I shouldn't need to pay for a subscription service for that. I don't know. Yeah, that's just me.
Definitely not $250. That's for sure.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
Dude,
Yeah. Man.
Do you guys want to talk about something kind of funny?
XDefiant not being out yet?
Yeah, do you want to talk about XDefiant? Because I think it's kind of funny.
Xda missed the mark. Am I
dude.
right? Yeah, right. Man,
for those of you playing at home, he's making fun of Mark Rubin.
Yeah.
Dang, man. Crazy. So let's go over to Mr. Rubin's Twitter and check a couple things to give you guys like a little bit of a taste of what's going on in the world of XDefiant that probably at this point not a ton of people care about. But I just feel like since we've been talking about XDefiant for like 5 years now, I feel like we should see this through. We should get this game to launch, guys. We're going to see it the rest of the way through. You're going to sit there, you're going to listen to us talk about it, and you're going to like it. So busy week for Mr. Mark Rubin and the XDefiant team. On the 16th, you're able to preload and watch the launch trailer of XDefiant. So about the 15th trailer for XDefiant. On the 17th, you're going to get the X Debrief preseason episode, tell you everything that's coming within the first preseason of Escape from XDefiant. Then you have 520 Battle Pass trailer drops. Everybody's into cosmetics, I guess, all the kids. Then you have May 21st, Tips and Tricks All-Star Series Finals and Preseason goes live May 21st. You can play this Call of Duty clone that doesn't work very good, and we've already played like 16 other times, and there's literally no excitement for it. You guys can play it on the 21st. Celebrate, get excited. XDefiant, it's here, guys. I mean, how do you feel? It's a big moment. Like, how are you doing?
Call of Duty killer.
Dude, it's a self-esteem video about that. That's what it is.
Is that the same M4 from Modern Warfare?
No. Oh no. XDefiant
is that the same? Is that a P-Mag? What?
XDefiant stole code for Modern Warfare 2. Confirmed.
Is that a gun? What?
Is that a gun from
I can't. They stealing everything from Call of Duty, bro.
Wait.
Wow.
Does that gun shoot bullets like other shooting games?
Wow, they totally stole that from COD. Like bullets coming out of guns. That's absurd.
I can't believe it. It's over.
Wild.
Man. Yeah. So basically,
this is what we're left with. By the way, this is how much we care about XDefiant. Like we used to. I remember like having these conversations. Yeah. And being so excited, and Crash always be like, "Hey, man, as long as they add a search." First of all, it was kind of like it kept getting worse and worse because I've noticed that it was like, Crash, like, I'm so excited for this game. This is great, and then it's like, well, as long as they come over search and destroy, then it's great. Okay, well, the next test will be better, and then it just got worse and worse. But now we're like, just cracking jokes about it. That's how like serious we take this game. No,
I
it's really
think
gone
those
down the drain.
conversations you're alluding to took place in like I think it was 2007 if I'm
It
remembering
feels
correctly.
like it, dude. It
Dude, I
feels
mean,
like
it feels like that, dude. Like, when was XDefiant? Or sorry, what was it called before? It was Tom Clancy's,
Tom Clancy's like
XDefiant.
X Defiant or something. Yeah, it was like
My
it had to be
gosh.
like 20. It had to be 2019 or 2020.
It's
So long ago, man.
it's
It's
been a
crazy.
long time ago. Like when we were first starting this show, man. Like it's like, I mean, when it's out and when it pulls a Hyperscape and Ubisoft pulls the plug and we don't talk about it anymore here in a few
Oh
months.
my god, Hyperscape. Yeah, holy
Yeah,
crap.
it's gonna be pretty sad because we just XDefiant, it's always been around since we started the show. It's like been a thing. But the hype is like totally in the garbage. And I mean, technically, it's like a good time for it to release because it's kind of at the low point of Call of Duty. But like 3 years ago, when there was a little bit of hype for it, would have been better potentially. But I'm not a marketing expert.
That's why I think they must have planned to launch this like a long time back after one of those first 1 or 2 playtests because they were hyping this thing up and the PR campaign was churning so heavily and everyone was talking about it and then they just like went radio silent for what feels like over a year.
Yeah.
Or more. Like they must have planned to release this sometime and I don't know what happened. And then
Well,
you
I'm
had
looking at it right now because they still have the Tom Clancy's XDefiant reveal trailer on their Ubisoft North America YouTube, and that was 2 years ago.
Pooh.
20, so it was 2022, was it? Or was it
It says it was August, so late 2021 is when they posted this video. So July 19th, 2021. The first test for PC players in US Canada was on August 5th.
all right? So we're looking at
just
so that's almost 3 years, right?
yeah, we're gonna in August, but and they still, this release date apparently is May 21st, I believe now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
drop off. Wow.
I don't think they're gonna delay it. I just think they. Well, okay, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I could be wrong about that too. But I mean, because originally it was supposed to be summer 2023. So, they could. I don't think they're gonna delay only because it's like at this point there's nothing to lose for them. They've already lost all the hype, so you might as well just put it out there. Yeah. So and see what happens.
Dude, the only thing I'm a little bit I can't even say excited. The only thing I'm going to pay attention to is that the preseason brief on 517 in case the 2% chance happens and they announce a search and destroy mode. And then you'll move the needle for old Crash just a little bit if you pop it.
Crash is gonna be here next week, just like XDefiant is gonna be the best game of our
game of the year.
XDefiant's GOAT eats game of the year. No, game of the year is still, it always has and always will be American Truck Simulator. Also, by the way, for my true truck and hosses out there, brothers, in 3 days the Nebraska DLC drops on May 16th. You can drive across the Cornhusker State, boys.
So
Get
excited,
ready, brother.
So excited.
Little plug for game of the year, American Truck Simulator. Dude, the 2 biggest Ubisofts, I'm just gonna start calling blunders like in missed steps. I'm gonna start calling those Ubisofts. The 2 biggest Ubisofts in this game is one, not launching on Steam. It's a free to play game and they're gonna do it on their launcher. Would have way more players if it was on Steam. And second, launching without a search and destroy mode, because every single arena shooter that's not an extraction shooter that's doing well,
even a ranked mode at least,
has one. Yeah, like make the ranked mode. The ranked mode, I don't know if it's going to be at launch or not, but it's supposed to have a ranked mode. So, man, I just played it so many times through play tests for years now, and it just doesn't feel that much better from this last beta test. I played it, the movement.
I don't think they did that much.
The hit reg is still bad. Like they're still working on netcode stuff. After it's not that hard, dude. Like pull an arena breakout and steal COD code and get it figured out. I don't know. It's just wild to me that they're struggling with what seems to be like a simple task. But
Yeah, who knows what's actually going on? But
at this point, I'm more excited for the Ubisoft train wreck than I am the game. I think, pretty sure.
I agree with that.
Because it's gonna be hilarious. Guys, is there anything else I'm missing? I didn't have much. I knew the
Microsoft shutting down game studios.
Is that technically a
quick shot? Yeah, that's definitely a quick shot.
All right, let's get into
it. Yeah. So Microsoft killed a few studios recently. Even after game award winning games that got pushed out by smaller studios, specifically Hi-Fi Rush. I never played it myself. I've seen a little bit of gameplay here and there. It's just like a music, fighting game. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the gameplay itself, but I do know it was very popular among some of my friends. And they literally just went and shut it down, even though it won game awards and it was pretty highly regarded as one of the a great game. So, and then the funniest part, and I'm not even kidding, Matt Booty is his name.
No,
the head of Xbox Studios, Matt Booty. Let me double check. MattBooty. So Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios. That literally, I believe it was the next day. They're in like a town hall, like when they got together. And this is his quote: "We need smaller games to give us prestige and awards." And he shared that with The Verge. So you went and you shut down a small game that gave you prestige and award, and then the next day you go out and said, "We need games just like that."
Oh man, it's ironic. It's that meme from Revenge of the Sith. It's ironic. Palpatine to Anakin. That's the definition of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
So they made some big cuts to Bethesda, closed Arcane, who made Redfall. That's not...
Redfall was not, that game failed. It flopped. So that one, it's like, okay. But it's like, even when a studio gives you a game that does well, you still shut them down. So it's like, who's next on the chopping block to save Microsoft money? The fact of like Eric Andre shooting Hannibal meme. Who shot Hannibal? Oh geez. It's like, because seriously, it's like, okay, then who's next? You have Xbox coming out saying, hey, we're just gonna give out our exclusives now to different consoles now, because the only thing that's keeping Xbox alive right now is Microsoft and their Game Pass for PC players. So their consoles sales are low. Their exclusive game titles are low. The only thing that's keeping them afloat right now is Game Pass and Microsoft, probably. So I really feel like this is the Titanic. It just hit an iceberg and it's slowly taking on water. So, there's more people that have PlayStations now than Xboxes, and there's more people that have, there's probably still more Xbox than PC players, but still, like, there's definitely more PlayStation players now than Xbox. And
I feel like I disagree just a little bit. I really think that Microsoft is cutting the bloat from like the COVID overhiring, and they're just making it like they're streamlining the company. They're making it more profitable. And unfortunately, that's pretty painful because it sucks to see people.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And I bet
I was getting a little bit too heated.
Well, it absolutely sucks for the people. It sucks for the studios. It sucks to the devs. It sucks for the communities that play those games. But if we're talking like the company of like Xbox and Microsoft, they're probably making the company itself healthier, more efficient. And more
that's the thing, though,
which sucks that it has to be done this way. But they're definitely shaking things up. And every time we see these like massive firings and studio closings. We hope it's the last one, but it just hasn't been. Like, they keep coming. It's crazy.
It's been happening over and over. Yeah.
And I'm assuming it has to do with our economy not being very good either. Like it's expensive to pay people because the dollar isn't worth as much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but this is also, I mean, it's also, you know, the fact of just like, imagine getting bought out by Microsoft and being like, yeah, we got the funding now for a small team, and all of a sudden, just like you built that up, because this is like the Hi-Fi Rush devs were, you know, their company was there before, and then they got acquired by Microsoft, and then get shut down. Like
Yeah.
that must hurt even more, you know.
Yeah, that's just one of the unfortunate things that happens to those small studios that get underneath a bigger one or a big publisher. Like you're at the mercy of, you know, whatever whims they want to do. I feel like you basically turn into a number on a spreadsheet that, you know, all they care about is like profit and how they can make more. And if that is without you, you're going to be gone. And that's just how corporate America works, man. And it's the harsh
I do
reality
agree
of it.
with chat to a degree too. Like I wouldn't say AAA is crashing, but it is the rise of indie developers,
Yeah.
especially with the tools given to them. Like
Definitely.
there will still always be AAA games for sure, and they still will make tons of money regardless. But I do think other companies will start joining, especially like the ones that are coming from like ex Battlefield devs and ex Call of Duty devs and stuff like that. Like those guys that are coming out and making their own companies are already like putting out some pretty good stuff. Where I'm still waiting on what was the X was it 343 or Bungie? Which one?
Marathon?
Marathon. You know, I'm still waiting to see more information on that. You know, I'm very curious to see what that's all about as well. So, and that's coming from that side, from the Xbox side. So,
yeah, but I mean, Anthony in chat saying the problem with what I said is that Game Pass is a priority and they need smaller games for Game Pass. Game Pass is the priority, and you're going to see Call of Duty on Game Pass like in the next couple. So, like Game Pass is going to be doing good. They're going to have all the big titles on there, man.
Doing numbers.
So,
I mean, everything is moving towards a subscription service anyways.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of things moving towards that. You know, exactly, you know, and it sucks because a lot of that stuff too, it's like for people that did buy Hi-Fi Rush, and if they bought it, you know, via Game Pass, that studio gets shut down. You no longer have access to that game.
That's a good point. That
as well too.
That's where we get into the boomer talk. If I remember when you bought something, it was yours and you paid for it and you always had it. You bought the disc, you had that goddamn disc, you know? But that is one of the things with subscription based services is it can be deactivated and taken away from you, and you know you pay for your time with it, which is something to think about when you're making purchasing decisions. That's for sure. And I mean, even in the whole digital age, you know, like you buy stuff on Steam, you really don't own anything tangible with it. But yeah,
I do miss having like a wall of games.
It was cool. I had a bookshelf back in the day with all the DVD size boxes on it with all the games. But crazy.
Yeah. We're just boomers at this point, I guess.
That is that's the truest thing.
I keep seeing more and more gray hair every time I look in the mirror.
Hey, at least you have hair, man. Like I'd take gray hair over what I got. Dang it, dude.
Get some Rogaine.
Sucks, man. Oh.
Baldy.
It's all right. I'll be okay. Just hair. Could be worse. Could always be worse. I've come to terms with my hair loss. It's fine.
Hey, if you need a haircut, let me know.
They do. Yeah. That's what I do now. I just have my wife buzz it off real short. Just call it good. I do save a lot of money on haircuts, so that's a bright side.
Dude, I spend like a decent amount of money on haircuts. Like at least if I after like a tip, because where I go is a little bit more pricey. Probably, I mean, even prices of haircuts are going up. I used to spend like $15-$20 and I get a decent haircut. Now I'm spending like 35, 40, 45 sometimes. Like, holy crap, dude. Like,
yeah, it's wild. And then I always get these ads and stuff, which I'll probably get now because I said bald on my PC for like Hair Club for Men and all these different hair transplant things. And I'm like, dude, I am not spending a penny on that shit. Genetics is undefeated, man. Like I'm hosed. It's fine. It's hair. I'll move on. Like it's gonna be okay.
Get yourself a fancy wig, Crash.
I'm good, man. I'll
Dude, get a
just cut it
colonial
off.
era wig, dude.
Yeah,
just-
the white one.
You know, get the white ones exactly, and
Do I bring
freaking
back
Crash.
Did I bring back the colonial powdered wigs or whatever? they
dude,
had?
Yeah,
walk
do
around
it.
with the lever action. Boom, there you go.
I mean, you get a few bourbons in me, I'll think that's a pretty good idea. To be honest, if I drink a little whiskey, I'll be on board with that. Wouldn't be a stretch. Wouldn't be a stretch. But I think that's a show. What do you guys think, man?
That's a show.
Yeah, it's a show. Love it.
That was awesome. Well, I think that's it for us for the week, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next week, same time, same place. If you want to support the show, be a friend, tell a friend, bring someone back with you. And if you're on the audio versions of the program, leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. It allegedly helps push it out to more places. We've been averaging quite a few downloads, over 100 downloads a week lately on the last couple episodes, which has been awesome. I appreciate that for the audio listeners as well. Thank you guys for being in chat, both on the vertical version and the horizontal version. We're broadcasting in multiple formats for your convenience, and just appreciate everybody being here. We'll be back next week with another show, depending on what happens in between now and then. We'll be, man, this time next week we'll just be chomping at the bit for XDefiant release. It's going to be awesome. Shout out Road to Vostok, Auntie. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for stopping through, man. It's an honor when you're here. Appreciate it. We definitely talked about it. If you're looking for a single player game, keep an eye on that one. Lots of cool stuff going into the demo. The demo, been making updates to that. Really cool to see. So with that being said, on behalf of us here at The Scope, we'd love to see you next week. Have a great week, and we will see you on the other side. Bye, guys.
Later.